Welcome back to Bitsummit, everybody. I'm Adam Coble. I'm here with Matt from Magnetic Realms, and I think I might have recovered finally from the loss of that little Dreeps guy. Have you had a chance to see Dreeps yet?
No.
They were here doing an interview with me just a little while ago, and it's this adorable little role-playing game, and then they took the character away, and I felt sad. But I've recovered now. I'm okay, and we are here to talk about Exile's End. So tell me about the game. What's the deal? Besides having amazing concept art, I'm looking at the guy on your shirt.
Thank you. Well, basically it's inspired by a lot of old European and UK home computer games. Like, I'm from Australia, so everyone I knew growing up didn't actually have consoles. We all had home computers like Commodore 64 and Amiga and Atari ST and that kind of thing. So it's sort of based on the influences of the kind of games we played back then. But also I'm working with some Japanese artists and a Japanese composer, the composer of the original Ninja Gaiden on the NES, and the artists also are like veterans of the 8 and 16-bit industry as well here in Japan. They worked on like Sword of Mana and Guilty Gear and a lot of older games as well.
I think that that's something that people forget a lot of the time, that there's not just two places video games come from, right? They're like, it's not, well, if it's not American, it must be Japanese. If it's not Japanese, it must be American. But there's actually games that were made in other parts of the world that exist. I think that we're seeing a tiny bit more of that with things like The Witcher, right? Because people know where that's from. But it's cool to see a shout out to a different kind of retro game that maybe people might not be familiar with.
Recently, that documentary came out too, Bedrooms, From Bedrooms to Billions. Have you heard of that? Yeah, so that's all the stuff I grew up with. So it was really cool to see that, you know, in a proper documentary and stuff. Yeah, because a lot of the stuff you see online and stuff, like, it does tend to focus on the US stuff or the Japanese stuff. Like, it's kind of seems to be forgotten a little bit, like the European and British sort of history. Yeah.
So, well, let's take a look at the game, and I'll harass you with questions about it while you play. So the first thing that I noticed on watching, because I watched over at your booth a little bit today, I love the sort of vaguely blurry, like scanline-y kind of feel that it has. The aesthetic is very nicely developed.
I wanted it to sort of look like how you remember games used to look on an old CRT TV, but not exactly like that, because it's probably not very good, really. It looks better in your memories than it really did, I think. So yeah, that's what I was aiming for. Just kind of subtle, but yeah. Yeah, so it's got some similarities to like the Metroidvania kind of games and stuff, but I didn't really set out to make exactly that kind of thing. So you've got like the action and the platforming and all of that, but there's also an emphasis on the story, puzzling, like solving puzzles, sort of more like the old point-and-click adventure games, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so one thing that, like you said, the Castlevanias or the Metroids of the world tend to do is the story in those games is pretty loose. It's more about exploration. So is the narrative, the sort of overarching plot, something that's more important to your game?
In this game, it is, yeah. It's sort of, I've tried to, like, one thing I don't like in games is when they like hit you with heaps of exposition and stuff, or big walls of text and that kind of thing. Like, I've tried to keep it as, what would you say, like as terse as possible, but still give the flavour of the story and stuff. So like, for people who aren't that interested in the story and stuff and just want to play the game, you know, they're not sort of held up too much by too many lengthy cutscenes and that kind of thing.
Yeah, minimum amount of having to mash your way through text you're not interested in. Well, so tell us a little bit about the world or the setting of the game, because it looks like you're in a castle, but you also appear to be some kind of spaceman. So
this is actually like kind of halfway through the game, but basically you're part of a team of mercenaries who've come to investigate something that's gone wrong in a mining operation on a faraway planet. So when you get there, you find out there's a lot more that's been going on that they haven't been telling anyone about, and so they've found these old ruins here, buried under the surface of the planet. And then they've sort of uncovered something that's had a bad effect on them, and you're sort of trying to figure out what's going on and how to stop it.
I feel like so often space exploration just ends up that way. Like, maybe we should just not go to space, because it's evidently full of mutants and chaos and horror. So obviously exploration is a part of the game. When you went into to designing it, how much of the world did you have sort of planned out in advance, and how much of it was designed kind of organically as you went through? Because I think a lot of people expect their sort of platformer experience to be randomly generated right now.
That's true, yeah. Like, I'm interested in doing that kind of thing too, but it's kind of a hard thing to do successfully, I think, when it's all randomly generated. Like, it lacks the sort of deliberateness of a actual hand design level as well. So yeah, this is all done by hand. I guess I had the outline of the story and like what would happen first and second and third and that kind of thing roughly, but then yeah, just mostly designed as I was playing it and trying out, see what works, what doesn't work, that kind of thing.
The game looks very difficult, and especially difficult to play while being harassed by someone with a microphone.
It's not like my intention to deliberately make something really, really hard, but like, it's still in development at the moment. There's a lot of tweaking left to do and stuff, so I've got to balance the difficulty and that kind of thing, of course.
I don't want to scare you. There's two guys down there, and they might kill you. Nice. There you go. Take that, purple aliens. I don't know anything about you, but you're dead now, and that's what matters. So what's your plan for releasing the game? It's still in development, like you mentioned. Are you gonna go for like a Steam release, or?
It's gonna be out on Steam, hopefully the end of next month. That's the plan, anyway. Yeah.
So are you doing the Steam early access thing?
No, it's just gonna be like the final.
You're gonna release a final finished game on Steam, which is rare these days, I think. Well, that's very cool. So, in the interim, if people want to watch videos of the game or they want to check it out on social media, where can they do such a thing?
Probably the best thing to do is check out my Twitter at Magnetic Realms. I'll try and say that clearly. Yeah, I haven't published any videos yet. I've been working like flat out just to get ready for Bitsummit.
Yeah, no time for videos. You are making a game.
That's right, yeah. So it's all just sort of starting to finally come together and look nearly finished at the moment. So yeah, I'll start putting out videos soon.
So if you want to check out more for Exile's End, follow Magnetic Realms. You can get your fix of atmospheric platformer action. Thanks again so much for coming. And Twitch, go check it out.